Hello everyone and welcome to the BSGCS.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Armyoverlord and welcome to the Bronze, Silver, and Gold Competitive Series Playoffs. On the blue side here we have Naughty Nips, All One Lane, Epic, Sax Game, Never Back Down, Have Faith, Guardian Gaming.
He's just gonna get CC'd and killed by the Twitch. Is it gonna be enough for the kill? No, the Winds of War not coming out. There it is, they're going to get the kill onto the Jace, and they're going to end the game. Great job there by All-in-One.
Yeah, they're going to try to end this. That definitely did poorly in ESG's favor, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, that was the game-ending fight. Wow, that was a heavy fight.
For Never Back Down.
I don't think they can end per se unless they kill everyone that's about to respawn. Oh, a surrender.
Yeah, surrender. The 25-minute surrender by Naughty Nips.
Nips slaps him.
Gets the pull there on the Janna.
Oh dear.
Guy is down. Kalista going for the first blood. Gets the first blood onto the Kalista.
I don't like this.
The enemy team, run man, run. Oh, huge Vel'Koz rips across the back line. Zac is back in as well. Zac's getting kited out though. He ults, and he's in his passive. So far, an advantage actually goes up to Naughty. A wall between them and the other team. Hamcam is in, but the rest of his team's not there. He nars them back. Huge stun, though. The rest of the team, backup has arrived. Vel'Koz rips through the front line. Down goes Fredderson. Down goes Plentykill. Yes, he does go down. And as well as the Spider Queen, that looks like it's going to be game. They're getting absolutely trounced in game one. Naughty Nips are hopefully not going to die to Zac and Poppy, actually. Oh my god, this is actually a interesting nexus to
Zac and Poppy. What is he doing? Killing them all off! Poppy going in, making another kill. The Meganon form comes out. Zac jumping in, but he's got to run.
That's actually going to be the game. So after getting absolutely annihilated in game one, Naughty Nips fight back and force a game 3. We'll see who goes to the finals now. Animaniac gets stunned again, though. Oh, Lunar Gecko just kind of ate the Spider Queen. Once again, though, with no one there. Their backline, nice ult by Hamcam. The problem is, Derby's on their backline. Will they be able to kite them off? Barbie's Naughty goes down. Fredderson is dropping low, though. Animaniac is untouched. The Syndra ult dodges too. Jinx is going off as well. That lands. This is looking like a lost fight here for Naughty Nips at damage. Hamcam's got to try and run. Lionel's shut down. Down goes Hamcam. Barbie's is the only one left. That's probably going to be game. After a bit of a scare coming in originally. Never Back Down show who's boss, I will say. They definitely did a...
Right now, if anything else will actually happen. Oh yeah, that's going to be a live engagement. That's going to be a knockup.
Try and make this happen, but can they do it?
A lot of damage. We're going to see right now, oh, that's actually a lot of ultimates being used. Wow, Instance is going to flash and he's going to try and get away. Suppression onto Emmyalice, but Emmyalice does a lot of damage. He's going to get the kill on to...
Emmyalice a double kill so far, and that's going to be the ace as well for Guardian Gaming. 5 for 1, that's going to be game 1. Not even 30 minutes on the clock.
That is definitely going to be a bear for the side of Guardian Gaming. Wow, and that's going to be an engagement from both sides. That's going to be a double knockup. But Green Boy's just taking is actually very taking right now. Hero Termina actually getting a triple kill. Will he actually go for a quadrant right now? Emmyalice taking a lot of damage. That's going to be a quadrant kill, and that's going to be the hook coming in from Green Boys. Will he actually get the pentakill? Flash coming in. Is it going to be the penta? One more hit, and that's going to be an ace. Oh yeah, that's a lot of damage being taken right now. That's going to be the first Nexus charges, and we're going to see right now a hook onto Instance, and he's going to go down here. Terminator does get the kill. He is legendary. One more Nexus charge should do it. Even Road does use the ultimate. Drew is getting very low. That's going to be the kill for Illumitar. We're going to see right now Nexus will go down though, and that's going to be a win for all. So Mr. Jeremy's still in the back. That's going to be a TP coming in. Dragon is actually very low right now. We're gonna see right now 2 people actually do actually get caught out inside of all 1 lane. Luvatar is on a killing spree, gets the kill onto Green Boys. Nitstitz does get the kill against Kidafire. We're gonna see right now actually.
I think they know he's there, but he might be waiting just to cheese a Luvatar.
We're gonna see right now, wow! Combo being landed from Kidafire on a killing spree, gets the kill onto a Luvatar. Good pick. On all sides actually. Wow, there might actually be a game-ending fight here. See what happens. Green Boy's taking a lot of damage right now. He's in the back. He gets healed though. We're gonna see what happens. Drew looking to go in, maybe. That's gonna be an engage on a do even bro, but that's gonna be the Gnar ult. Not Gnar ult, but Mega Gnar actually coming in. Emmy Alice does get the kill onto Sonic Gaps, and that's gonna be a lot of kills from the side of Guardian Gaming. They're gonna focus that Nexus, and they are definitely going to kill that Nexus. That Nexus will go down. Huge push coming in from Guardian Gaming. Was able to get all 3 turrets, all 3 inhibitors, and they go for a nice complete takedown.
Roundtable again, back with the usual goons, I suppose. I guess we'll start with the 3rd place series. Who's gonna win and why? Same order as usual. Army can go first.
Well, thank you again for always picking me first. I would never get such a pleasantry from my intermediate school.
It's alphabetical order.
Oh, that's even less.
First doesn't mean best.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But that's why we got to talk about the 3rd place. So, jokes aside, it is going to be Naughty Nips versus all in 1 lane. And to be honest, that is basically not exactly very favorable for all in 1 lane. You know, I hate to say it this way, but you guys got in from a statistical mistake by Half Faith. You then went up against an opponent, you gave him a good fight, but unfortunately, in the last rounds of it, ended up caving in. And now you're going up against an opponent that's just, if actually, in some people's cases, even better than Guardian Gaming. That's really difficult. That's very hard to overcome, to even have the opportunity to get the 3rd place with those statistical averages is almost improbable, almost. So I would assume that all in 1 lane isn't going to give up quite yet. All 1 lane, I'd say, has themselves a single game against Naughty Nips, but I think Naughty Nips will still come out on top. Hamcam is, according to those performances, still looks like he's really great on Gnar. Still looks like the kind of guy that is dominant in the top lane that I remember him being, and he's very talented at that. Considering what he was up against, he managed to carry a very rough game against my Never Back Down guys. So I think, bottom line, Naughty Nips wins that.
Alright, Blaze, go for it.
This was, to Army's point, this is a very unexpected matchup, especially for the 3rd place matchup. I don't feel that all in lane are going to be able to win this at all. Don't get me wrong, they put up a good fight and they have been improving throughout the split. However, it took them a few miracles to get where they are now, and if they've went from, it's basically 7th place and playoffs would not be the thing on their mind, to, 3rd, 4th place. I would happily take 4th place if I were all in lane, and, with the fact that I gave Naughty Nips an 11% last time, I naturally think that they're going to be able to turn it up to 11 against all 1 lane here. So with that said, I'm giving my vote to Naughty Nips 2-1. I don't think all 1 lane are a team that are going to get rolled over here, but I do think that Naughty Nips should be able to win this matchup.
Okay, I just want to ask for context. Are you saying they're still going to be 11% to get 3rd place, or what?
No, actually, if we're gonna give percentages here, then let's say 60%.
Okay. Just I wanted to know for context for the video. Sorry, Manwalrus.
Fridge, you're up.
Alright, so I would say normal circumstances I would pick Naughty Nips in this game. However,
I need to catch up to Armyoverlord in points, so I gotta pick all one lane. I gotta pick opposites, otherwise I just give him the win. So I'm gonna be saying all one lane. I do think Naughty Nips is the better team, but I do think all one lane is capable, and I'm gonna pick them.
All right, Dota.
So for the 9 Nips all one lane, I think it's pretty obvious the winner's gonna be Naughty Nips. I mean, just Naughty Nips played the better team out of the two. I think MBD is greater than Guardian Gaming. Naughty Nips, first game did not do so hot. Second game they looked pretty good, and then third game they looked all right for the first start. So I think for sure Naughty Nips probably 2-1. Just because they're definitely inconsistent. So I'm thinking they'll go out super hardcore, stomp game 1, game 2 they're gonna make some crazy weird decision, and no one's gonna know why they do it. They're gonna lose, and then game 3 they're gonna be like, all right guys, let's make sure we know what we're doing.
Certainly anything is possible. I mean, Fridge has legitimate defense for his point. You know, 3 Cloud Dragons were spawned in all one lane series against Guardian Gaming, and it was a Cloud Drake that sent, I believe, game 1 for Naughty Nips' chances in the Cloud, so it's certainly possible, but as long as no Cloud Drake spawn, I think Naughty Nips are perfectly fine here.
As for me, though, I would say that I'm gonna have to go with my boys all one lane once again. I'm thinking right now, because I do think that the better team is Naughty Nips, but I think they have far superior. I think all one lane has far superior late game team fighting, and I think that if the games get as late as they had gotten in the Naughty Nips series, especially if the draft falters, Hero Termina gets his hands on a hyper carry, I think we see all one lane win. It's 2-1 either way, I think, for either team winning, but I'll just give it to them. Just based off the fact that they've come up very clutch in the past. The only worry is that Sonic Abs looked really poor in the series versus Guardian. I feel like if they played Life of Freeze in the top lane, I think they would have won. Unpopular opinion maybe, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Well, a small rebuttal to this, and I will make it small, I promise. No long speeches, no chipmunk this time, I swear. I only want to say that I believe that all one lane can really rally themselves around, get themselves together, make some coordination, get themselves some comps, get themselves some organization, try to get themselves a comp that they can feel really, really good with, and then try to get themselves a victory here. I think they can get themselves one victory, but the truth is, I think bottom line, I don't think Hamcam's going to let this opportunity to get himself a third place could slip right out of his fingers. I don't think Barbie's going to let that happen either. I think their team is great at warding. They're great at a lot of things, and I think that is going to be the deciding factor. Just wards, comps, and engages, and I think Naughty Nips got all 3 of them. I hope all in one lane finds a way to prove that wrong. That's all.
Alright, so we're ready to move on in the finals. We'll see how Army's prediction record holds up. He's currently got a 100% prediction rate.
For both game and series, might I add.
That's true. So, Army, who's gonna win? Guardian Gaming or Never Back Down? Not that we have to ask you, honestly. We could probably skip Army if we really wanted to.
we could. I already know what he's gonna say.
Tell us for the 3rd consecutive roundtable why Never Back Down are God's gift to the earth.
Well, as my record stands, and as my record proclaims, I am a foreseer of the future, a manipulator of the system, and a pure, uncontradicting cheater. I mean, fair and unbiased individual. Couldn't even hold my own joke in. Anyway, to be more accurate, Never Back Down had surprised me a little bit. in the Naughty Nips game. They basically did not play in game 2 like I thought they were going to. They basically let the game slip out of their fingers, which is actually something that I was a little shocked at watching myself. I was like, wow, they managed to say a lot in that game. They said a lot about Tarek, they said a lot about Zach, they said a lot about how much warding they do, and I felt like, you know, we put a lot of practice behind all that stuff, and I didn't see what was going on with that. I'm sure this time around, with the seriousness of the championship coming in this situation, that'll be the last mistake I'll ever remember. Because these guys are definitely going to do everything in their power to force a victory to happen. I'm saying Lucking Fegendary, ladies and gentlemen. Never back down, wins again, wins it all, and will win my heart along with it.
In what fashion? 3-0, 3-1, 3-2.
I will say 3-1. I don't know exactly what the intentions of the first comp idea is going to be, but knowing my group, they're probably going to try something pretty risky and probably adjust themselves to learning on how to beat it. I say 3-1.
So
I might be wrong here.
Going with the TSM method.
Yeah.
Lose game 1 and win the next 3.
That's what I think.
Alright, Blaze.
This is a really awesome finals, I have to say. Both from just the metaphorical meanings and like the playstyle of these teams. Never back down. Clearly a name that says offense. Guardian Gaming clearly names defense, and to a degree their playstyles also represent that. Guardian won their series against a one lane through objectives as to never back down, I would wager, won the majority of their games through getting the kills onto the Spider Queen. With that said, League of Legends, while kills are awesome and all, this is a game of the objectives. So, I'm going to put my vote to Guardian Gaming. 3-2 though, I think it'll be very close.
Wait a second, you said this is about objectives, and then you picked Guardian Gaming?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you said that again so you realize what you said. Alright, that's fine.
Well, 40-minute objectives.
Ah, there we go!
Alright.
Well, I don't know if we were watching the same Baron calls in that second all-one lane versus Guardian game, but alright, Fridge, go for it.
Okay, well, you guys know I used to play for Guardian, so, I mean, as much as I do love Fred and GVG, I do gotta say, my heart lies with Guardian in this one, and for the same reason that I picked all one lane as well, I do have to pick Guardian, because I can't just let Armyoverlord walk away with the clean sweep and just let him win. If I pick the same things he picks, I don't make a comeback. I think Guardian Gaming showed some weaknesses in their games last weekend, but I think they also showed some really, really strong points. So, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be very close. I think it might even be a 3-2 series, but I'm going to pick Guardian Gaming to win it.
Well, since Fridge is going with his heart, I'm going to use my brain. Never Back Down takes the series. 3-1. I mean, I like Guardian Gaming, I do, and I think it's not that they're bad. Like, it's not like they get outplayed mechanically, or that, you know, their drafts are really dumb, or that their bans, they just let OPs through. It's just, honestly, it just comes down to shot calling. It seems like their lanes usually do decent. Their comps are usually decent. The bans are usually decent. And then they get into game, and I just feel like no one is in the same call with the other 4 people. Everyone's just like doing their own thing type deal. So the MBD, you know, they still do a little craziness every now and then, but for the most part, it seems like they are, you know, together. So that's what I'm thinking. They've just looked better the last few weeks overall. So 3-1.
3-1 for Never Back Down.
I think
fair enough. I'd be bold enough to say that I don't think any of the teams that have played against Never Back Down actually know how to play against them so far. Take their series against ESG, for example, here. You don't ban out Spider Queen, nor do you try to. This guy is proven that he can play marksman role, not just a few AD carries. He knows how to play the role of marksman to a T, and you don't ban him out. To that which I'm going to boldly propose that the actual weakness of Never Back Down is the man Fredderson himself. And I'm not crazy, think of this for a second. Nobody has ever target banned Fred. What has he played? Thresh, Rakan, Braum, forcing him, I think, onto a more supportive champion, something that maybe Barbies would play instead, might just be the tick that you need to beat Never Back Down here, because they rely on Spider Queen to get these kills, and while most of that's the team, some of it's also Spider Queen very much heavily relying on Fredderson playing these melee engaged supports to help him get those kills.
Hang on, they first banned Rakan against Never Back Down in every single game the last time. They banned Thresh in another one as well. Those are some target bans. But anyway, as for my prediction, I picked against Army every single time except once, I think, but this time I'm going to go with Never Back Down because I don't think Guardian can stall the game out against a team that as good as Never Back Down, basically. Because I think their lanes are both for both teams are very good, but I think that it's going to be hard for them to stall the game out to 40-50 minutes versus Never Back Down, and I don't think that. So that's basically just it. I think Guardian relies on slowly choking them out, the enemy out, when Never Back Down can just go in there and win the game really fast. All right.
So your vote goes to...
It goes to Never Back Down, 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah. I like what Blaze is thinking here, though, because people keep trying to ban Spider Queen, which, I mean, all the ADCs are the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, depending on, what ones are, like, hyper carries, what ones are, like...
Yeah, but they all do the same thing. You just right-click people. I mean, I'm an ADC man. I know these things. You just right-click people. It's what you do. It's the same thing when we played Compete League. People saw that I only played Caitlyn, so they banned Caitlyn. So then I just didn't play Caitlyn.
Said, whatever, I'll pick another champion.
I just played Tristana. Basically the same thing. You just right-click people, and then people would ban those two. And then I would just play Ashe. It's the same thing. I just right-click people. Like, I just feel like ADC, like, don't get me wrong, there's hyper carries and people do very well on them and stuff. But in the end, it just boils down to, if you're gonna waste 4-ban spot lane on the ADC, then he can just pick a hyper carry and just farm it out. And then it puts the ball in the other team's court. You have to outplay me. You have to either kill me in lane, or you have to 4-man dive me, or you have to, do this or that and the other thing while I just farm and scale. So I say, that's what I say is also, I said it for weeks now, is ban Fred, or ban the top laner, or ban the mid laner. Like, just because the guy is carrying at ADC doesn't mean that's your ban priority. Sometimes you don't need to ban the strongest player. Sometimes you need to ban the weakest player. Because take him as the weaker of the 5 and make him by far the weakest, and then just exploit that.
See what?
I'm not saying it's Fred, by the way. I don't know if he's the weakest. But someone on the team is the weakest.
Personally, I'm gonna say that the actual weak link for Never Back Down that I think Guardian Gaming, if they exploit this hard enough, they could end up taking the series, is their top lane. I think you just ban Gangplank and then you kind of win top lane every single time. We kind of watched HamCam do it in all of his games, and Drivy's been kind of up and down all season in terms of performance, relatively inconsistent, and Do You Even Row dominated against all one lane, although it was Sonic Abs he was playing against, so I do think a lot of this could hinge on top lane and how it works out.
Yeah, no, honestly, if I had to pick one, it would probably be him. I think I said it in the cast last week too. HamCam should dumpster Thrivey, and he went even, I think, one game. He was slightly ahead one game, and then dumpstered him the other game. And that was with, I think, one ban top lane. I think it was just the Gangplank. And Thrivey even got counter picks a couple times. So if that can happen, what would happen if HamCam would have got some ganks? You know what I mean? Or some good roams, or even just the jungler running by and just dropping a pink ward in the bush, just to give him that little extra sense of, I am safe.
Or if they hadn't thrown the last game of the series, then they'd be in the finals.
Well, yeah, that too. I'm trying to say little things, but obviously big things are big. But yeah, to me personally, if I was on the team, I would say we are gonna ban top lane, make him find his 4th best champion, maybe ban 2, pick 1 or something, and just just have your jungler ward it, and then just have is it row, right? That's the top laner for Guardian.
Do even row.
Do even row. I knew it was some kind of row, and just have him dumpster, and then just get rift, get first brick, and then just start your rotations.
Okay, so we've said a little bit, we talked a little bit about the never back down weaknesses, or at least theories of weaknesses, of course. I always think that I'm an impregnable machine when it comes to decisions as well as team building. But what about the weaknesses of Guardian Gaming going into this? What do we have to say about that?
Well, I think we've been going over this every time we've spoken about Guardian. It's just that they haven't been able to push their advantage enough to win fast. That's basically all of it. And then it kind of gets to that point of the game where like the gold lead becomes irrelevant, and the enemy team can pick Twitch and steal Baron like 50 times and like get pentakills and then upset you.
Right, it's a bit of an old tale. Yes, it's basically engraved into their it's like their subtitle now at this point with their name, Guardian Gaming. We wait until the last second to win our games. But I mean, is that it? Is that all there is to their weaknesses in your guys' opinion, or is that their only like exploitable situation? Like who else?
I think they have really strong lanes across the board. I don't think there's anyone on their team you can point to and say this person like is subpar in their role. I think they're all top 3 probably in their role, I would say.
Really? Oh, okay.
I like how
Army's
trying to get
I was gonna say Army's trying to think of strats. He's trying to get this info from us.
He's got his notepad out, so he's like, so if you guys were playing against
you might want to take that out of the video, by the way. the respond back, that's a little that's not very classy at all. I'm just saying, if you guys are going to suggest weaknesses of Never Back Down, you might as well do the same thing on Guardian Gaming, otherwise it just looks biased.
We've been suggesting them the whole show, yeah.
Yeah, there's been multiple shows, multiple casting where we talked about why Guardian Gaming loses or barely wins.
I'm saying this is the championship. This is where we should be biased against both parties at this point and understand like who's good and who's bad from that perspective.
I think the word you're looking for is unbiased, not biased against
both. No, you just have to hate both teams going in.
Critiquing both teams is what I meant.
No, I think Guardian Gaming's weakness is like apparent. They just honestly, if my strategy is in the mid game, because like Manwalrus said, and like I said earlier, early game they seem to do fine. That's not the problem. There's never been a point where it's like 10 minutes in, I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, Guardian, you guys are garbage. You lost. No, that I don't think that's ever happened since they've started playing in the league. It's always like 20 some minutes in, and I'm like, what are these guys doing? Why would you do that? Or 30 minutes in, and I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? Why is everyone farming lanes? There's Baron. There's 4 dead. What's going on? So to me, that would be the thing is we're gonna go even in lane, hopefully win, and then just group early, force them to follow our rotations. Because you see it lots of times in pros where one team is just out rotating the other. They just run top, get top, or get some good chip damage, and then run back mid. And time they get back mid, the other team is just getting to top to defend. And then you just play the game of chase me, catch me if you can. And since Guardian Gaming is known for, not really having that good rotation, the good teamwork, synergy, whatever you want to call it, I feel like that's the way you win the mid game, is make them chase you, make them out-ward, out-rotate you. And since we think they can't, that should be where you get your advantage, and then you can push from there.
You with Green Boys obviously support for all one lane. You guys are going to you have a shot at 3rd place. Tell me, I suppose, first about the series with Guardian, what went wrong, and also why you're going to win versus Naughty Nips in the 3rd place match.
Alright, what happened in Game 3 against Guardian Gaming was we underestimated them, and we gave them comfort picks, thinking we were better even with them being on comfort, but they proved us wrong. We made too many mistakes, lost early game, and we couldn't get back before we lost. So yeah, that's what happened. We lost the early game, give them comfort picks, and we got we got screwed up.
All right, and
oh.
yeah, why are you guys gonna win?
And we are gonna win because I think Naughty Nips is not close to be as good as Guardian Gaming, and we almost won that series. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna smash them 2-0. That's a 2-0 this weekend.
All right, I like the confidence. So I'm here with Barbie's Nice support for Naughty Nips. Obviously, you guys unfortunately lost to Never Back Down, a close series. Will you explain to me why that sort of went the way it did? What happened with that series?
The first game I think was just nerves got to us, or not that got to me. I know me and Annie weren't doing the best of job. The second game, I think we got pulled together really well. The third game, though, I don't know exactly what happened. We were in a good lead. We were doing good. I really thought we were gonna win, and then we just started throwing. Like, we threw so hard. I don't really know what happened. It just kind of was mind blowing. So we were really disappointed in ourselves for that.
Well, now that you guys obviously did make the finals, you will be going up against All One Lane, third place match. Why are you guys going to win that?
I mean, All One Lane's a good team, but I think we may be a little bit better than them. But actually, I just told my team that since, it's just third and we had a rough game last weekend, that we can just go in and troll. We don't have to necessarily go in and try our hardest. So it might be more of a troll match. We might not even win just because we're doing what we want instead of like super hard team comps.
So here with Plenikill, mid laner for Never Back Down, you guys have made it to the finals, so congratulations going up against Guardian Gaming. Tell me about that series versus Naughty Nips first, and then tell me why you guys are going to beat Guardian.
Well, the series versus Naughty Nips was an interesting one. We ended up starting off most of the games behind, and most of us playing well towards the mid game and end game is what ended up winning the first and third games for us. They ended up picking comps that were stronger in places where we were weaker, which gave us sort of an early deficit to work with. I don't know. It ended up being just a team, I guess, pulling together throughout all the later halves of Game 1 and Game 3 that ended up really winning us that series.
Because that was something that I was surprised with, because you guys, I know any team would be a little bit upset if they had, started out so strongly in Game 1, then thrown the game in Game 2, then gotten behind in Game 3. What was the mentality like, basically, in that Game 3? How'd you guys pull it back?
In Game 3, we were a little bit tilted from Game 2 because Game 2 it went south in every possible direction. It was an absolutely terrible game for us.
Yeah, I know. I was casting.
We got out rotated. We got pulled in early game. Our AD carry picked a bad champion. They picked Callista into a comp where Callista could fight. I was unable to get onto the back line as Vlad. Our top laner was stuck versus Gnar, unable to do anything to him at all. Our jungler was, trying to help 3 lanes that couldn't do anything. So we had no strong points that game. Our AD carry got a 5-2 lead, I think, in bot lane, and then did absolutely nothing with it because it was just a comp he couldn't fight. We were tilted a little bit.
Yeah. So why are you guys gonna beat Guardian in the finals?
How?
Yeah. How, basically?
Same way we've always won games, I guess. Rotations, power plays, picks into probably shoving down a lane into a Baron play into shoving down a lane. I mean, pretty easy, I think, to see that every time we win a fight, it's shove down a lane or get Herald or get Baron, then shove down a lane. That's how it's worked for us. Pretty much every win we've had has been like that.
All right, nice and simple. Thanks for the interview. Here with Emmy Alice, the ADC for Guardian Gaming. How was that series versus All One Lane? Is there anything that you would like to say about it in particular?
Just that, like, we really prepared for it. We finally were able to come together after having a few rough weeks, and it ended up being a really good series. It was a lot of fun. The tough second game, but we were able to pull through afterward. So.
All right, so now that you guys have beaten all one lane, right? How exactly are you going to beat Never Back Down? I guarantee you guys are practicing pretty hard for that as well.
Oh yeah, we're practicing every day, and I don't know, we've got a few tricks up our sleeve still. We haven't quite shown everybody everything, so you can't show everybody everything before the finals, so we got to keep some secrets. Now that you guys have, obviously there's been a lot of criticism directed at you guys closing out games. Do you have any response to that? You know, people say that we play slow. I've heard some people in particular calling us the chokeout team and all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, like, we ended up having the best record, and so hey, if it works, why change anything about it? So that's all I can say about that. They if they don't like how we play, they can go watch something else, I guess, because there are plenty other things that they can be doing. You guys scare the crap out of your fans every game. You know, and that part of that's just because, like, we're not a team that's going to take risks. We're still a team that's new together, so why take the extra risk when we can pull back, reset, and then continue doing what we were doing before? And that's kind of like, that's just our play style. And if all of our matches take 40 minutes, so be it. Any final statement going into the finals? I think it'll be a tough match on both sides. I think everyone's going to pull out their A game, and I don't think it's just going to be a walk in the park for either team. So it'll be a fun one, that's for sure.